Very disturbing news coming in, Preeti. We have been able to now get more information from our sources in Jammu and Kashmir, and the death toll is much, much higher. The injuries are much higher. The information, Preeti, from what sources are telling India
20
today.
dead. Gaurav, the information we are getting in right now, and that's the news that we are breaking. And it's tragic, viewers, because from 1, the number has now jumped to 20. Over 20 are feared dead in the Pahalgam attack, and that's the latest news break that is coming in. Unfortunate, tragic, something, like I said, that will leave an indelible mark on the country's psyche, and we do hope the response is even harder. But 20 feared dead, Gaurav, that's, I would reckon, in recent history, for as far as I can recount, we haven't seen a worse terror attack where tourists are concerned.
When it comes to tourists, it is one of the biggest terror attacks that is taking place in Jammu and Kashmir. You'd recall in 2019 that the CRPF bus, which was targeted by Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists, that time 40 CRPF personnel had been killed. After that, terrorists have always made an effort, and their akas or their handlers across the border, that you keep it at an acceptable level. But this time, it's clearly way beyond that acceptable level that Pakistan wants to keep it at, that you keep bleeding India, instead of killing larger number of people in one instance, get the same number of casualties, but keep it at 5, 6 in every incident. You get the same 20 figure, but it's spread out. In this case, we are told 20 is a figure. My apprehension from what sources are telling India today, when all the bodies are recovered, when all the injured, there are some who are critical. The apprehension is, God forbid, we may have worse news for our viewers, and it's very unfortunate. We don't want to give them this sad news, but the situation is very, very dire in Kashmir right now.
You know, viewers, that's big news that's coming in, and unfortunately, we have to give you that information right now. That count from a fatality of 1 has risen to 20, as Gaurav also says. It could rise more. You know, we don't want to add to it, but what we can right now confirm is that the total fatality number stands at 20. And Mir, you were right, because that is what you had seemed to suggest. We didn't want to give out the numbers earlier till we got an official confirmation, because the visuals that came in after the bloodbath of the terrorists on these innocent, hapless tourists in that meadow, in that valley, where you can actually see them, you know, just sitting ducks as they sprayed bullets. The count now 20, and it could very well go higher than that, Mir. What are you picking up from your sources?
Yes, Preeti, that's the unfortunate bit of news. And as you rightly said, it can go higher. Sources say that it can even touch around 27. But again, as we have been doing this responsibly, we are not jumping the gun. We're waiting for official confirmation. But right now, this is the sad news that is coming in. It's a carnage. It's an absolute carnage. And as you said, it's a meadow, and they have done it with time at hand and shot people from very close range. So obviously,
Mir, are the injured? Mir, have the injured been? Mir, the injured, because you know a lot of them are critically injured. Were they given immediate medical attention? Where all have they been taken? Because 20 is the current fatality count, viewers, and we don't want to be alarmist. We didn't want to give out the figures earlier till we got an official confirmation. It stood at 1, but now, because so many were critically injured, sadly, the fatalities now stand at 20. The figure could rise even more than that. This is, at least in recent history, or what I can remember, the worst terror attack on tourists. The messaging is very clear, and we do hope as a nation that the response of India would be clearer. But right now, you know, it's a nation in mourning. We've lost 20 tourists who were there just, you know, enjoying themselves. There was confidence earlier, because it has taken years of confidence building measures. There was a certain amount of normalcy that had returned to the valley. The number of tourists in terms of sheer count and numbers had gone up, to the very effect that till yesterday you could not get a single room in Pahalgam. And today, that's a ghost city, and that is the power of terrorism, and that is the sinister power of terrorism, viewers. I want to cut across right now. I also have my colleague Ashraf Wani, and we'll be joined by a guest shortly. Lots of breaking news coming in, urging patience with our guests. But Ashraf, you have spoken to many of the eyewitnesses. There's some on record, some off record. What do they seem to tell you?
Yes, absolutely. This death toll, what we are now, after the confirmation from the authorities, we are confirming that at least 20 tourists had been killed in this terror attack. But currently, what I want to show you, I am in the Srinagar. Home Minister is just within minutes reaching here, and you can see how the activities of the security agencies had been increased not only in the Srinagar city, but all across the Jammu and Kashmir, because this is a major terror attack in the decades, and also the tourists had been targeted, which were never targeted by the terrorists in the 30 years of the insurgency in the Kashmir Valley. So clearly it seems that there is a kind of frustration among the terror groups and their handlers across the border. They are not happy that the kind of the tourism boom which was currently being witnessed here, not only by the people who are associated with the tourists, but also by the authorities, because the Tulip Garden, which is the attraction of the spring tourism here in the Kashmir Valley, that has been visited by the more than 8 lakh tourists so far, and still people are going there. It is the double what the number last year was. We have already seen the maximum number of tourists last year. That number was going to be broken by the quantum and the number of tourists this year. So somewhere the frustration among the terror groups and their handlers, that is why these innocent people from different parts of the country had been targeted in the Pahalgam. And also we spoke to the eyewitnesses who were there on the spot when this terror attack took place. They clearly said, some of them who are visiting first time in the Kashmir, they got the morale when they saw the people from their areas, from their towns and cities are coming to the Kashmir and visiting to the Kashmir when the temperatures are going up all across the north and South India.
You know,
and
Ashraf, before I cut across to some of our guests, I want to ask you one question. At least till now, what we have seen, unlike other times, because we've seen a lot of politics where, the Kashmir parties are concerned, but unequivocally, we've seen condemnation for this terror attack coming in from all sides. Attacking innocent, hapless tourists who were only there, number one. Number two, even, where the regular Kashmiris are concerned, the economy was doing much better. There were people coming in. There was a sense of normalcy in life which was returning, and this is going to be a huge setback in all of that.
Absolutely, and that its impact has been seen today. The Pahalgam is the most attractive tourist destination in the Kashmir Valley, and just when I am talking to, there is not a single person in the Pahalgam. It has been completely vacated by the tourists themselves, and who did not want it to vacate. They had been pushed to vacate by the security agencies, because the most big and important priority for the security agencies is, unless and until those 3 terrorists which are believed behind this terror attack will not be neutralized or captured, still then the threat of the terrorism, threat of the attack is looming in the whole area. And not only on the tourists, but next month, in the July, on the 7th of July, the annual Amarnath Yatra is beginning, and the main base station of this pilgrimage is in Pahalgam only.
Exactly.
That is why the Home Minister himself a few days back chaired a high-level meeting where he was chalking out the security arrangements for this year's Amarnath Yatra. Then just after 7 days, he is coming back with the kind of a bad news from the valley that at least 20
the news, Ashraf, could not be worse than what it is this evening. 20 fatalities right now. And unfortunately, viewers, it could rise. There are people who are tourists who are critically injured. We continue to get you the latest information, but it's heartbreaking what has just happened. Just at a time, it has taken years for Srinagar to come to where we stand today, a certain sense of normalcy, economic activity, locals, feeling that. On the other hand, you'd seen tourism constantly go up year by year, and that takes years of confidence building measures, and all it takes is one incident like that to break the hard work or undo the hard work of all those years. And that is the tragedy of terror, the sinister power of terror. Right now, the 3 terrorists, and these are the initial information that is coming in, so we are only going to give you that. There were 3 terrorists at least, till now, the information that we had, who were involved in this incident. They are still at Raj. You can see a blanket of security force where Pahalgam is concerned. It's a ghost town right now. There is a search on for these 3 terrorists, but this is only the immediate retaliatory measures where India is concerned, and we are hoping, and there should be a larger message sent out by India. In what form it will be, we don't quite know.